And guys, welcome for one last time for WAFCON. We are here to take in the finals of what has been a very interesting Women's African Cup of Nations that's been covered here. We know the four teams going to the World Cup, and again, congratulations to Morocco, Algeria, who Algeria that is, and the third place matchup in penalties. Apparently, penalties isn't the thing for Morocco right now. Who knew? What else is the thing for Morocco? If you know, you know. And then the finalists, Cameroon and Malawi. As we will watch, or we'll be there together, take it all in, enjoy the finals of what has been, quite frankly, a upset-filled. If you didn't know about this player or this team, you know about them now. Half Women's African Cup of Nations. We're going to enjoy our time here. I want to know what your final thoughts are for this tournament and for the teams that you've seen. Are you high on the team? Are you lower on the team? Who impressed you? Who has disappointed? Who has left you now with more questions of the 16 teams that qualified? Or sorry, 16 teams that were placed in. Again, because we have the 12 that were qualified plus the 4 who came in at the end. You let me know what you are feeling from there and how we will go from there, because today is WAFCON finals day. We're going to take Malawi, the Scorpions, versus the Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon. And how they got there as we scroll through, guys, we will go through that in a minute. But, guys, if you're here for the first time, welcome to the channel. This is The Shape of Football. We do primarily Canadian and African content here. And since, WAFCON is happening, we were going to be here for it. We got most of the games here. We weren't here yesterday for the third place matchup. Their scheduling wasn't going to allow us to do it, but we are here. We are most certainly here. We're going to talk about the finals, which really is going to be an inevitability versus an immobile thing. Because it's the Chewinga sisters versus Makili, Mahina, and I think whoever wins that is winning the game, as simple as it goes. But though we are 40 or so minutes away from kickoff, let's run through how we got to where we got here. Again, the teams were drawn to 4 pots at the beginning. You had Morocco, who were the hosts. Then your next 4 highest ranked sides, which were Nigeria, South Africa, and Ghana by FIFA rankings, because Ghana is ranked 62nd and Zambia ranked 64th. And then Zambia had second place. They had Zambia, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, and Algeria. I'm seeing some nice trends here. In pot 3, you had Senegal, Mali, Egypt, and Burkina Faso. And then pot 4, you have Cape Verde, Tanzania, Kenya, and Malawi. Now, as we got to the groups in Group A, you had Morocco, Algeria, Senegal, and Kenya, where again Morocco got past, going 2 wins and a draw, while Algeria went 2 wins and a loss. Senegal needed to win their final game versus Morocco, but only could suffer a 0-0 draw. So only 2 teams came out because there were 16 teams. In Group B, you had Cote d'Ivoire, South Africa getting through. I think a little bit of a surprise to see South Africa, Banyana struggle to get out, but they did struggle through. But ultimately, they found a second life, and we'll get to that in a minute. Burkina Faso and Tanzania finishing with 3 points each, but not enough to get to second place. In Group C, Malawi topped that group due to tiebreakers over a Nigeria side and a Zambia side, who though had the goal difference. When it's more than 2 teams, it's the tiebreaker goes into effect with the 3 teams involved. So all the goals that Egypt conceded went out the window, and because of that, Zambia lost their tiebreak because they didn't have as many goals, and were tied on the goal difference because everyone was tied at 0 for the moment. So Malawi and Nigeria in Group C, and in Group D, Cameroon going 2 wins and a draw. Ghana going to win, loss, draw. And then Mali needed a win over Ghana, their final match, but weren't able to get it. And as a result, though tied, Mali were eliminated. And so our bracket broke down like this. You had Morocco versus South Africa, Cameroon versus Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire versus Algeria, Malawi versus Ghana. And in the first round, the quarterfinals, you had Morocco getting past South Africa 2-1, knocking South Africa to the playing matches for the Interconfederational playoffs. And Cameroon, I think the surprise for most sides, got past Nigeria 1-0. Michele Behinus, save after save, but Nigeria also miss after miss. That's the top bracket. The bottom bracket, you had Cote d'Ivoire going up early on Algeria, but then Algeria storming back in the second half, thanks and aided to a red card, but they were still coming 2-1. And then Malawi turning it around, also down 1-0, getting a 2-1 win over Ghana. The semifinals, you had Cameroon getting past Morocco in penalties. Michele Bahia saving a penalty at the end of additional time, and then saving 3 out of the 4 penalties that were struck, and Cameroon scoring 3 and goes to the finals. Whereas Malawi, pretty comprehensive win over Algeria, though a red card does come into play. I think Algeria would kick themselves in this game thinking of the chances that they missed. And so, though the finals were Cameroon and Malawi, we did have some other details to clean up here. Now, for the playing matches, you have South Africa getting past Nigeria 2-1, and then Ghana getting past Cote d'Ivoire 2-1. And those are the 2 African sides who are going to be going to the Interconfederational Playoff as we currently sit. And then in your third place matchup, you had Algeria getting past Morocco in penalties, thus getting them to the third place trophy. And a good story for them. Last WAFCON, so last year's WAFCON, was the first time going past the group stage. But then in this stage, they got past the quarterfinal. They got to the quarterfinals, got past the quarterfinals, got to the semifinals, and quite frankly, a very good showing for them. And so now we have our finals, which are Cameroon and Malawi, which are the last thing to decide here. Because at this point, there is going to be, for the first time, a new champion that isn't South Africa, Nigeria, or Equatorial Guinea. We're going to crown our 4th champion of the women's AFCON in this tournament. And this is going to be very interesting. Because as much as I said earlier that this game is going to come down to, who is able to defend or who can score. The big names are going to be, okay, is it Tabitha Chawinga who's going to score and Temwa Chawinga who are going to score goals for Malawi? Or is it going to be Michele Bahia who's going to save Cameroon there? I think there's actually a very interesting story that goes beyond that, and that is the fact that if you look at Cameroon's defense, their defense has been good. Against Morocco, they certainly put up a very valiant effort, getting that game all the way to PKs, even though they conceded the penalty at the end. And so their 2 center backs, as well as their CDM, have done an exemplary job, I think, in this tournament, just defending well. Yes, they gave up chances against Nigeria. We're not going to deny that. They gave up chances against Ghana. They gave up chances against Cape Verde. But the goalie makes a lot of saves, and you give them credit for that. But also, I think Cameroon, the defense certainly need a shout, and they're getting their moment in the sun, because I think that they certainly do deserve that adoration in terms of, hey, look, yes, your goal is doing well, but you're not doing Maya Kith and Mock, who I think consistently have played well. They were the starting trio against Morocco, and as you see here on the screen, those 3 players, I think they have been very instrumental, on top of having a goalkeeper who can save them when need and called upon. And so these 2 down the middle are going to be very interesting, because to me, on the flip side, there's a conversation which is, what you're going to get from Malawi. You're going to get defending well, and then get the ball into transition, and then Tabitha with rapid pace, Temwa with raptor pace, and then even more coming to finish it off to see who can finals are going to be the situation. And so I think practically this is going to be a very interesting game for both sides, mainly because I wonder how they both want to approach this. Because I think both sides have proven that they can sit back and absorb. And so which side is going to take the opportunity to maybe give themselves a little bit more vulnerable and moving the ball and being the progressors, being the aggressors in this game, right? Because I think for both sides, they would love to score early, and then they can then just say, okay, now we'll sit, we can defend, and transition moments are for us. This is Malawi. Malawi would love that. What, first 5-10 minutes, Tabitha chewing on the break, puts in the cross, and then Temwa gets to it, and then it's 1-0, and then they can sit back and defend. I think Malawi will be well suited for that. Now that's not to say that this Cameroon side don't also think they can do it as well, right? Little Eto can get up, and God maybe Toko moving the ball forward, do it, giving them some opportunities. I think that's definitely going to be something that they will be watching because I think, frankly, I don't know if both any of these sides wants to play an expansive final, right? And when you get to a final, you get to a stage like this. It's always keep it simple. Don't make don't go for the glorious pass. Keep the simple, keep the ball moving. Make the safe choice. Your opportunities will be there. But I wonder of those sides if there's a team that decides, yes, we've defended well enough. I probably think it would be Malawi of the two sides. I think Malawi would push the issue a little bit more, trying to find their opportunities because it just feels like that's something that they would like to do. Right? It feels like Malawi would like to get a lead early, and then from there, they can sit back, they can defend, they can find their opportunities. Then from there, that opens up what they're looking to do. And so for me, that's what I think. I think Malawi will be the aggressors. I think they will try to take the game to Cameroon, and we'll see if a good defense can play well against, quite frankly, explosive offense, right? And I think that'll be very interesting to see how that comes through. Now, names and numbers are out. We don't have a full look of it, but we do have the names of who will be starting. Like, no surprising for each side. Michael Pina. Oh, as I say that, hey, look at him. Look, won't he do it? Won't he do it? And so, uh, well, I guess banners are not going to refresh here today. And so for Cameroon, who are on the left side of the screen, we have Kelebihina, Maikif, and Zana Niaju, and then Yakana. That's your back line. And again, if you're from Cameroon or from Malawi and butchering, je m'excuse. It was not what I was trying to do. Okay? Je m'excuse. Désolé. I'm sorry. Okay. Ngok, I think, has had a very solid tournament. May not get all the praise, but I think she's been great defensively, but also trying to press the ball up. Toko sitting there. And Joa Eto has been a player that I saw her at the last U20 World Cup, where frankly I was not familiar with her game, and now I'm very familiar with her game. Good, solid player coming in, and Mandua on the left hand side, and go and then Inga up top. That is your lineup for the Indomitable Lionesses. Now, when you flip it over to Malawi, I think the big question for them is always going to be again. I think Stakalo, since her blunder goal against Barbara Banda, she has caught everything that has been sent towards her. And I say this very importantly because you're not going to high shots unless they're perfectly placed. You're not going to beat goalkeepers who at least have some height. So go try to beat them low. That's there for you. I feel too many sides have tried to say, well, she She had a blunder against Barbara Bandel. Let's put the ball high. No, 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 no. Keep the ball on the ground. Make her have to go laterally low. And I think that might be the opening that I can find. But Stakelo in goal. Samwaka is apparently starting as a fullback. Now, the other interesting note is Katare, number 10, who is number 6. She received the red versus Algeria, so she isn't eligible for this game. So this may be them trying to switch things up a bit, though I am a little bit surprised by them going with a lineup looking like this. But according to Soccer Way, it's Samwaka, who has been primarily a winger for them, playing at their left, Madise, and then Afwandikan, Alufandika, apologies again. And then Makanawire is your back line. In front of her, you have Chinyamula, Kumalo, Chinzimu, who has typically played on the other side. And then you have Temwa Chewing, who's playing as a left winger. We'll see if that's where she is. And up top, you have Tabitha Chewing, and then Gwanwe is your starting 11 for both sides. Now, I don't think it's going to look like this on the pitch. I think they will move around with some players and figure some things out there. So I think you're probably going to have Chewingham more so. It would make more sense to have them, especially when you have Simwaka sitting there. If you're going to have her from that far back, maybe that's them saying they want to put more pressure with overlaps. If the starting 11 is as it reads, I'm not sure that it is, but if it's as it reads, that's something that would not surprise me if that's what they were going for. And so possibly, if that's the lineup, that just screams you want some pace, you want some overlap, and you want everyone going in transition. And if that's the case, I hope they get all to the right spaces. Because if not, it could get very, very troublesome coming back. These are two sides that are going to be very wanting to be in transition. The other side, I think Cameroon, their physicality certainly has it on display in this competition. They certainly, teams that want to play the ball, not that they don't mind it, but they will certainly make sure that you have to earn every pass. That doesn't mean they're not, but I think they've done it well enough within the scope of this tournament that it's actually, I think they will make it a little bit difficult for them. If Malawi can get this game going where they are up and down, they can get the ball into space, and there's not being tripped up, not being stopped, slowed down by tactical fouls. And like I think Malawi could really cause some trouble in the transition. But if this game, I think the pace of this game is really going to show it. If the pace is a little bit more slow, more methodical, I might like this game because the real matchup to me is since the blender, I know every game that Malawi have played, they've not come in with a better keeper, but they have the better finishers. And you know how you keep your goalie pressure free? You give her a cushion that she doesn't have to be perfect for. And Malawi, I think, have done that. They did that against Algeria, and I think that could continue to grow as they go through. But we will certainly wait to see if they're able to push that through, especially in this final, which is about 20 minutes away. Quite frankly, I just realized that I'm watching this. Let me get my stream up to where I'm watching this from. The game coming through in a few moments. You drop your predictions. You tell me who you're rooting for. Again, I have no rooting interest in this game. I've seen a good final. I think the story is Malawi. The other interesting story is, again, Algerians remind you this all the time. Yes, they qualified for this because they were placed in the tournament. I know. It happened. We'll live. That's reality. It's a team that we didn't know what to expect. I've said this on many streams, I'll say it again. Malawi here have been more of my what if African side. We saw them start to build up in Kosovo win back in 2023. Unfortunately, they had to face Zambia in the first round of the 2022 uh, WAFCON qualifiers, but then qualify here. Luck of their draw, luck of their run. And so it's a side that has had talent, but then finally got the investment. I talked about it a bit. I did a podcast that's on our podcast channel. If you want to go there on all podcast forms, find it at the Shape of Football. Talking about the different projects that were involved with it. Gotcha. And so I think there's definitely, if Malawi wins this final, I think there's a good conversation that is which other sides, because Malawi winning it is a team that we showed you the rankings coming in. This was the second lowest ranked side in this competition. No, this was the lowest side in this competition, right? I'll throw this here again. By FIFA ranking, they are the lowest side in this competition. And to win this competition, to get to the finals, they have defeated the 37th ranked side. They defeated the 101st ranked side. They then lost to Zambia because Zambia knows them best. I look at them. Zambia and Malawi are a similar side. I think Zambia have just had more time in the sun, so they've had the opportunity to play through. I trust Zambia a little bit more defensively than I do trust Malawi because I think they both have the same issues. Then they beat Ghana, ranked 62, and then Algeria were ranked 73. And so if a team like this, you just finally invest in your team, you find the talented players that are there, you build a team around them. If Malawi wins, I think a lot of African nations should. I don't know. If I can find a stream that I can stream there, yes, but it is the final. And because I'm also multi-streaming, if I'm on Twitch here, because I'm both on Twitch and YouTube, so if I can find somewhere and that I can do it, I will certainly do so. But there is a possibility that probably not. I might just be watching along, commentary and the like. But again, if we get the game and it feels like we can run it, go. Just don't want to risk the channel just yet, But we'll see. But as we're saying, if Malawi wins, I wonder how many other CAF sides are saying, well, why don't we just, find our talented players, which we have, build a program, invest into them, because it's more than just say, oh, we're going to start the team. There was infrastructure that went into, right? Improving stadiums, improving locker rooms in Malawi. They did that through some FIFA grants, which have done a lot of good for the program. But you also needed those talented players. So I wonder if Malawi wins, it's, hey, we're not that far off. Why don't we just get to the dance and from there see what happens? If Cameroon wins, Cameroon's a different conversation for this tournament only because, again, Cameroon is one of the four sides. It was Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, and Egypt. So two teams in pot 2 and pot 3 are added to this competition because CAF wanted to take this to 16 sides. And CAF is the Confederation of African Football, in case anyone was wondering. And so if it's them, the conversation is more so now the teams that are right at the cusp just get in, right? It's the same conversation. It's the same end goal. Get to the tournament and take chances at the dance. But those teams that were right there at the end, right? You're thinking like the Angolas, the DR Congos, the Benins, the Togos, like sides like that. I think if Cameroon wins this, you look at this competition and say, maybe we're not that far off and we're going to 16 teams. And as CAF continues to expand, we're definitely going to find more opportunities. So why not? Why not just hope for chances and qualification? And if we get there, we go from there, right? Teams that are close aren't quite there. Right? Benin mentioned Gambia was a close fall failure, unfortunately. I know close failure is the right word to use. I'll use it. Togo, Ethiopia, DR Congo, as we mentioned, Angola, Mali, but they got in. Benin, we mentioned, but the Gambia, right? I think if you're Cameroon and they win, I think those other sides look and say, well, actually, we're not too far off. So why don't we take a chance there and try to go in? That would be, I think, the two possible, plausible thoughts to go through. And so that's how I would see it. But again, it's going to be a new champion, fourth ever champion here. Again, Nigeria have one for every finger and thumb on their hands. And so they have those. Equatorial Guinea have two, and South Africa are the most recent new winner who won theirs back in 2022, which was the 2023 WAFCON and CAF World Cup qualifying. And so a fourth champion in a competition that's been dominated really by Nigeria. It's certainly going to be something. It is certainly going to be something. But as we are about 15 minutes away, we shall see what we have going on in the fun places. Yeah, so for now, another question was if I was going to stream the game there. If I could find a way to do it, I would certainly do it. But I will try to find a. If I'm not going to stream it, I'll certainly drop a link for where you could watch it, and then from there, you guys can enjoy from there. CAF has been doing their CAF thing, so I don't know if they're going to be able to be found properly, which is always a frustrating thing. It's not as if people want to watch this. It's not as if. And so we'll see what will come of it. But as of right now, what I will do, since we're about 50 minutes away from kickoff, and it will be ceremonies and the likes. Throw this up here as we wait for the game to get going. I feel like everything is slow today. It feels like mine has been off today as well. So if I drop off because my streamer has been giving me trouble today too, I will do my best to be there and be present for all of you. Da, da, ba, ba, ba. But that's where we are. Let me know who you have winning. Again, who's impressed you so far, who has disappointed you so far, and the likes. I'm actually put that poll up. So our poll is up. It should be up in a minute here. Who do you want to win this WAFCON? We'll go from waiting. Yeah, this is taking him. I think I'm slow on everything, which is interesting. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know who you're rooting for. And are we up? Okay, we're up and we're up. All right, let me see if I can find this tree here. I see you, Mary, saying you're rooting for the Scorchers. Fair enough. And fair enough. Again, like I said, I think Malawi is a better story because, again, Tabitha and Temo Chewinga are two of the top strikers, forwards, really. The two are the two of the top forwards in women football in the world. And so what will make this very interesting is, like I said, if you get a team like that who wins it, does the conversation now become more, do we how many more Malawis are there? Like, are there sides that are thinking like, yeah, we have talented players. You just need to build a program around a couple of them and it should be good to go. Or is it as simple as saying, you're a Cameroon who are right on the edge. You're a good enough side. And now it's just a conversation of, well, we just need to take our chances and we'll go from there. So it's very interesting to see how each side wants to approach it. But you let me know who you are rooting for as we run it up and go through. Let me see if I can find the stream here. Everything is uber slow today. Alrighty. See if we can get this here. It's about 9 minutes away from kickoff, scheduled kickoff that is. I'm sure this thing will not start on time because it's final. Now, I wonder how much, again, once I get a stream, we'll see what the actual attendance looks like because I'm sure Morocco felt like after Nigeria went out and after they beat South Africa, I'm sure the Moroccans felt like, yeah, this is our tournament to win. And then they fell to Cameroon in the semis. So I'm wonder, plus the fact this is what the feels like the 19th straight tournament here, but it's another tournament in the country. So I'm wondering if the fatigue is going to settle in with those guys that are coming through. But as you can see on it, 7 minutes, counting down. Wonderful. This should be wonderful. So by definition, I should be able to see it from there. All right, so let me take a look if that stream is up. Yeah, I haven't done this yet. I guess I'll do this here. I normally don't ask for anything here, but if you do like this content, we do typically do Canadian and African content here on the channel. So if you'd like to stay up to date with all the happenings on the channel, you can hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to see whenever a video is dropping and then moving through from there. But just giving you that invite. I don't ask for subscribers after this. I only try to do it once and then move on from there. And so we are here waiting for the game to come through and see if the stream will work out. I mean, in a crazy world, I'd love to hit like 1600 before this game is done. I think I'm at 1541 or whatever. But yeah, and if you like this content, we do again Canadian and African content. So if you want to jump in and just stay up to date with that, feel free to. Also, ones or twos, depending on who you're rooting for. One for Malawi or two for Cameroon, or just say it in the chat and we'll see it as it goes. As we got our poll sitting in our bottom left corner here. But here we are. Let's see if this stream is reliable. All right, so moments coming through. Nothing yet as we get closer to it. Nothing yet. But if we get anything, I will let you know and I'll direct you in that direction. But as of now, waiting through as we are moments, about 5 minutes away from kickoff. Malawi wins. Okay, I see you. I see you. So, Mary, I see you. Mary Kadiamo saying Scorchers are winning. Elizabeth Mbila saying Malawi will win. Listen, the one thing I've learned with this is I've allowance have come out of, not to say that you weren't already on the internet, but you are all present. You are all present. I've looked since the amount of allowance I've seen just jump in like, oh yeah, Scorcher, Scorch. Oh, we've been Scorcher fans all day, all day. Again, it's two great stories from two programs who look. I don't think any of them expected to be here. Right? I think I said in my preview I said there's so much unknown with Malawi because they have such talented forwards, but then maybe don't have anything else tested at this level. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. But I am very much curious to see if the lights. You have two players where the lights are not too bright for them. Tabitha Chawinga, who plays Tabitha, who plays at Olympic Lyon. They've played in big stage, so the lights won't be too bright for her. Temwa, who's played big stages in the NWSL here in the US. And I say here, I'm in Canada, I'm not in the US. And so big stage won't be big for them. But I wonder for the other players if the magnitude of this moment gets to them. I think that will be the interesting thing to keep an eye on because if the magnitude of the moment gets to them, it might just be a situation where, hey, let's go. I think of Michaela Bahing, she's become the story of this tournament with all the saves that she's made. But again, this is a player. We'll see what they're able to do with that. And so I'm curious. I'm very much curious to see for an environment that they are going to be playing in, how they handle it. I'm very curious to see how they'll handle that. And so we are going to find out very much soon enough how this will run as we're getting closer, but still no stream found, which is, again, a very calf thing to happen. A very calf thing. Nope. Okay, it looks like depending on where you are, you should be able to catch it. I have a VPN set for Latvia, of all things. You know, I'll give you guys all a very simple way to do this here. You're going to go to, if you have a Chrome, yes, 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 yes. If you have Chrome, you can download a free VPN. Again, I'm not being paid by them, and I'm just telling you what I do. Uh, Browsec, switch your locations to Latvia, and then from there, you can go to the CAF TV channel. As we are there, and we'll see what is able to come through as the anthems are complete. A spattering of fans, but I think better than I had anticipated because I wasn't sure how it would look like with all the with no hosts in the finals. You risk having a very empty, but at least there you see the Malawans and the Cameroons, their fans have been traveling, their supporter sections have been vocal, and so it looks like it'll be a very good. It won't be a great electric environment, but it'll still be a good enough environment for it to run through. As I think Central, the lower bowl looks good. And so we wait for that. So, yep, anthems are there. Looks like we have Malawi in their red kits that they've played in, it feels like, every game. And Cameroon may be in their green kits coming through. So, a nice color clash coming through. I do love me a good color clash in the final as we go, as the ball gets ready to be dropped. And we are getting ready to get going here. The ball has been dropped. It looks like I'm going to be behind a bit on the commentary, so I do apologize for that. Apologies for that. Let's see if we can get this stream up to date here. She might force me to do that. All righty, so ball is rolling. I'm trying to get the stream up to date here. Well, apologies for that here. I thought we would have had it, but this is CAF. They're choosing the most difficult ways to follow through everything. Alrighty. So everybody's got streams going on. Let's get to this action here. Let's get to this action here as we see it running on the stream here and looking nice. Looking very nice. Good movements there by Cameroon. They're moving the ball. But you gotta be wary. You gotta be wary of that Malawian transition coming through. You have to be wary of it because they come pace for days. Let's see what we get here. Going on here. Going well. Okay. Cameroon looking like they want to be the aggressors here. Not bad. But well defended there as we had a throw-in coming in on the other side. A good action. All right, and we are back. We had a technical difficulty glitching, but we be back here, guys. If you're looking for where to watch it, Be In Sport USA has it streaming there. So again, Be In Sport USA has it streaming there live. But I will provide you with some commentary as we're going through, as we just now have. We're coming up on the goal kick coming here, but we'll see what Malawi does. So I'm a little bit behind, but let me get you guys here on this free kick that is moving through. But again, still no score. Oh, finally, everything is back in the game. So we have our no score here. Our scoreboard is there as Cameroon tries to go long and direct, but it waves off. It's headed up, deflected wide, and it is a goal kick coming for Sikelo. Still 0-0. Chances on both sides. Again, as we mentioned earlier, the physicality that Cameroon are playing with are certainly making Malawi have to step back a bit. But Malawi still opting to go direct, still opting to try to find either Tabitha or Tema, but more often Tabitha in the transition moments use her rapid pace to get onto the ball and create chances. Again, not as full as I would have expected, but still full enough. Working from there, that is true, John. CAF TV isn't loading now, but I have it loaded on Be In USA. I guess you just have to be not in the USA for it to work. As Cameroon get the ball on the side, they try to dribble off, but a goal kick coming back here. So I'm in. So you guys are in the 18th minute. I'm a minute behind here. So I do apologize, guys, for that. My stream here is a minute behind. But the game so far has proven to be, I think, Cameroon being very stingy, very difficult to play with, and being the team that wants to be the aggressors here. I think not having Kadzari for them, as you have Tabitha get the ball out wide. She plays it out to Tamwa Chawinga. It's on channel 4 as well. Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, the game is on channel E4 in the UK. Wonderful. That's another option for you guys looking. And Be In USA on YouTube. Yes. Thank you, Ote. I do appreciate you for that. So if there's options that are out there looking for, I'm just going to provide commentary. And if anyone has another stream that they can go to, I will let you know where to find it and go from it. I will be here as now Malawi tried to go direct, but aren't able to move it from there. And now it's gathered and brought back in by Bahia. Let's see how this half goes on. But again, it's been more of actually Cameroon being on the attacking side. I think their physicality is making it a little bit difficult, but it's not without chances. Still not without chances. They certainly, Malawi, are moving the ball into good spots. Malawi in their dark kit, not their red, so no color clash, just a dark green versus a black, which basically looks like a dark green versus a dark green. Still going through, but again, still 0-0 is the score. Again, the physicality certainly is what's going to cause trouble for Malawi. Cameroon aren't going to let them just run free. They will make it difficult for them. And so I think for both sides, it's going to be not only composure, but picking your spots in those moments. As gets the ball to Tap. There could be a very interesting chance here. As we're moving, but an offsides is given. We go still 0-0, even though the screen is telling me someone has scored, and I'll get there in a minute because I'm that behind. Okay, so here we go on the free kick sent. Where in the USA can you watch this game? Well, let me tell you. As Malawi tries to clear the ball, but goes right back into the middle. They send the ball out wide. Cameroon now gets it to the byline. They cross it in and head it down and on the rebound into the net. And that is how we get to 1-0. The indomitable Lionesses get the early lead. And I think this suits them very nicely. They can now try to defend. But it may be a Be In Sport in the U.S. as Cameroon are now up 1-0 We'll see if there's anything coming in that might stop our show. And I just realized that I'm showing the entire window, not that. So I do apologize for that. Oh, geez. Okay. Let us first update the score. So it is 1-0. 1-0 is the score. I'll give you the score line in a minute here. Sorry, in a moment's time. Huh. Oh, right. It's 1-0 is the score. And so Malawi now having to find an answer for a goal that they've been able to do so far. Whenever a challenge, they've always been able to find an answer, but typically they've been the front runner in these tournaments. Let's see if they can keep up the challenge as it's been given to them. But 1-0 is the score as they sit and wait through 1-0. Very interesting with a corner now coming in for them. They get the ball deep. It's defended well, and now we'll see what comes from the opportunities. But 1-0 Cameroon. In the first half, that I think Cameroon have been the better side. Malawi have to be a little bit more cautious moving forward, but in a cross that is headed and then a rebound coming through, the indomitable Lionesses are the side that strike first, and they have the 1-0 lead over the Scorchers of Malawi. Again, still early, still much football to be played. Listen, I can only do what I have, and I do apologize for that. But as it stands, 1-0 for Cameroon. They are up. As we go through, as we are checking a player after the cross is set in. It looks like it's Michele Behina who is down. The goalkeeper will take some time with it, but 1-0 is the score. As we sit here. Yeah, the clashing heads. I have to be careful with that, but looks like she should be fine to recover. The ball gets back and resumes play here. Okay, beIN Sports should have it. beIN Sports should have it. Okay, Spatty or S Patty. beIN Sports should have it in the States. That's the broadcaster. They're the broadcaster for it. It should be them who have it. But I appreciate the pressure. There's nothing the Marines can't do, I've been told. But that is the broadcaster. I have a VPN set on, so maybe that's how I'm watching it there. I have my VPN sets to world. I do have my VPN sets to the world. So Malawi now getting back into a dangerous space. Nice deep throw in for them coming in. Still 1-0 again is the score. Yeah, I am set to Latvia. I appreciate you. You'll keep me on my toes, sir. Sir, to the sir. But we'll still score as goal scorer is coming through. Malawi now is trying to build a little bit more pressure, but again, I think this Cameroon physicality is what's going to make it difficult for them to find space because no Algeria gave them some space. I tried to play the ball here. I think Zambia to an extent but weren't too physical with them. But this Cameroonian side are certainly going to make it very difficult. They're going to have to see the ball, and it's going to be a lot of putting it on the space and hoping that a player gets underneath it or can run under it or can run with it, because Cameroon are going to make this a struggle. Again, not even in a dirty way, but just they're going to make it a struggle as another opportunity here coming for the Malawians to get the ball, but the throw goes too far. Placed out for another throw in. No, John. I apparently am on a Latvian VPN and watching beIN Sport USA. I just picked a country that I knew didn't have a broadcast deal. As now Cameroon wins the throw in as they come in the other way. Probably because I think, right, I agree with you, Clinton. I think with the transition pace that both sisters have is going to create a problem, but then also with that pace coming, it's a penalty for sure. Cameroon will have to be careful because they're going to play physical throughout the whole thing, and all you need is one stray knee. Is the ref Moroccan? I think it's fair to ask now. Because the ref is Moroccan, there will be a penalty in the 87th minute. It's tradition. There will certainly be a penalty in this game. I am certain of it. Headed back into the middle, and they try to go long, but it's just deflected wide. But offsides call or hand called. So coming back in for the line. Still 1-0 in the first half, and that's scoring in the 20th minute, and that is the only goal that we have in this game so far. And thank you for everyone for doing your best to stick it out here. I know everyone's trying to find it. I would show it, but I simply will not risk the channel here. Oh, if this holds, if this counts, my Cameroon forces the save, but it looks like they just score on this set piece. If Cameroon just scored on this set piece, Malawi, why is now the time you want to showcase your defense or your lack of defense? This is some Zambia level defending. Yeah, it's in. This is off the set. Sakalo now decides that he can't catch anything. Oh, goodness me. 2-0 for the Indomitable Lionesses. If Malawi, it's getting late early. It's getting late early. Just a scramble. She's nowhere near. Turns, scissor at the bottom. It's 2-0. That's a good goal. That's a good goal. Cameroon. Hey, their families are here. Stop. Hey. No marking. 2-0. That is the most CAF thing. That is the most CAF thing I've ever heard. CAF TV is showing live commentary of the match. I mean, the camera's on the commentator as he calls the match. Yeah, you guys we aren't serious. I'm sorry. We are not serious. We are not serious at all. The whole world is trying to find this game, and we're like, hey, hello, there's a pass. We're not serious. Anyways, 2-0 Cameroon. Samuel Eto'o is that's why little Eto'o scores. Joa Eto scores, so Eto gets to celebrate as Eto scores. It's 2-0, and I am telling you, if this is the first half, we're 30 minutes in, he the trophy might stay in West Africa. And Malawians, it's okay. This is what a loss feels like. But this might be a bad loss if this continues. And again, I think there's at least a goal in from at least Temwa, but it's just been going directed. The physicality has made this a difficult run for them. But 2-0. This is as they try to go along. They don't have any buildup. It's just go along to Tabitha or Temwa and pray. Yeesh. Yeesh. Nearly. Oh, Sakela, now you're trying to dribble out. Now you want to show your feet? Incredible. Cameroon are playing. I will show you guys these stats at half, but it's not even. They're not even dominant. Yeah, sure. I will send you the link here. It's not that Cameroon are dominant here. It's just that the defense we worried about this entire tournament for Malawi is rearing its head now. Against, of all teams, Cameroon. Like, of all teams, Cameroon is the side that all of a sudden, the efficiency. If you told me that Malawi were run through by Zambia, I'd be like, okay, I believe you. Yeah. If you told me it was Nigeria, I'd believe you. If you told me Ghana was able to pass through, I'd say, okay. I assume Doris isn't starting, but it's Cameroon. Cameroon are doing this, and it's something. It is something. 2-0 is the score, and I feel that at this point, any more goals coming, any more shots on goal, it might just be a goal. As Cameroon can now set up defensively, and now that they're making Malawi do something they haven't been able to really do, which is having to play the whole length and build up the whole length of the pitch. Cameroon I've been worried about their defense the whole time. Well, they try to go, a good, nice last-ditch tackle, but then it's like that sequence is very much Malawi. Cameroon tries to get a nice through ball in. They miss it, but then on the clearance, it deflects off of a leg, and it creates another chance for Cameroon. They've just not been able to get out of the way the Scorchers have. And it's scorching, but scorching in just like burn it all down, please. It's on fire, but we're losing the house. And they'll check this for a penalty maybe, but I don't think they'll give it to them. This is the type of game it's been. But 2-0 is the score. The indomitable Lionesses are up by the score of 2-0. And every chance they have, they look dangerous. And to your point, Firewall, look, what I said at the beginning of this tournament was I didn't know what to expect from Malawi. Because Malawi to me felt like another Zambia. Yeah, John, I sent it to you on a Blue Sky. A Blue Sky. Yeah, I sent it to you on Blue Sky. But actually, let me have it. let me actually jump to my stream and post it there. Because I'm literally watching it on my phone and giving you commentary. So today the struggle is this. Oh, we're just chilling here. Cool. That makes sense. I'm gonna put it here. I'll probably get another corner coming here in a moment. But okay, agree with you, I'd say, but I don't necessarily disagree with you. Their midfield setup is going to make it difficult. Like, if my internet doesn't like die on me, like we'll go through the stats, but I might have to like this is a situation where I might have to sacrifice something in order to make sure I don't jump out all the time. But still, it's the midfield, it's the middle fight. So many aspects of this which are making this difficult for Malawi to find any footing. And as a result, like it's 2-0 and it's eight, two chances that they have buried. I don't know if I and to the point that firewall was making before internet decided to just die on me. The way I didn't know what to expect from Malawi, and now seeing here, not to say this is expecting from overall. This is not I'm not trying to change my tune here, but genuinely, I if you look at all their games, even the Algeria game, they are very much Malawi is Zambia 2.0 in terms of you have two great strikers up top, and then everything else you're just like they're gonna have to outscore their problems. Now in this game, as we have Najwa Eto who's down here, as we have a substitute early because Malawi are like, listen, this is not going well. We need to try something, right? Their struggle is teams that have been able to play, they've just not been able to finish. And this Cameroon side are finishing, right? And to your point here, Firewall, I'll give you who that substitution here is in a moment. Cameroon are a solid defensive side, right? And that was the point I was bringing up to in the pregame. Right? It's not just Michele Bahini who's been good. Their center backs have been solid. Their their center backs have been solid. Their CDM has been Ngok has been good. They have been solid defensively. And oh, by the way, have a goalkeeper who can make a save when it's but have made plenty of saves. One of two, it's as much as it's a conversation of, oh, is it the sisters versus the goalkeeper? Now the defense certainly is living up to its billing this whole tournament. And if they shut down respectfully, if they shut down and didn't give many chances to Morocco, and Morocco will actually try to roll the ball on the carpet against against the pace of this game isn't frenetic. The pace is very it's Cameroon getting the ball in dangerous spots. I said this earlier as well. I think the pace will dictate who wins. And right now, at this type of a pace of a game, until Malawi can get some urgency, get the ball to Temwa, and see if she can create something. This is Cameroon's game to basically dictate. Unless Cameroon decide to shut off Cameroon, how they've played this tournament, they shouldn't lose this game. Right? Unless they shut off defensively, I'm sorry, they switch off defensively, there's no reason for them to lose this game. We got 3 minutes of injury time, one for every great chance. As now Cameroon get try to get it. They get the ball out wide now. Try and pass one again like butter into space, cross in. Last ditch foot and cleared now. But they call the offside. Yeah, that was now I look back, it was a clear offside. Again, oh, that was close. But they are just like even moments like that, they get the ball into the middle. They're dictating this middle so well. And they're just like you shouldn't get a through ball that just goes through two people like that. This is with no disrespect. This defending is Australia versus Zambia at the Olympics level. It's you'd expect a little bit more for finals, but at this point, there's no reason Cameroon should lose this game. There is no reason based off how they're playing. No, Firewall, I agree with you. The Cameroon keeper is good. The keeper should go to the defenders who would prevent clean shots at goal in the opposition. All right, Nigeria and Morocco didn't have clean shots. Imagine. No, I agree. I agree, and that was the point I made. As much as the story is, oh, it's Michele versus Tamo and Tabitha, the story really is their center backs have been solid. Ngok in the middle, as a CDM, has been disruptive. Their fullbacks pinching when they need to. Like, it's really more defense versus them. And if this was a more open game, a more frenetic game, as a Malawian player is down, we're seeing what's going on with her, they'd have more chances 1v1. But having to break them down like this might be, as a center back, you're like, look, you're not going to see the ball. So, okay. This player leaves the pitch. If you're Malawi, you just need to just create a save here. Like, just get a shoot from anywhere and make the goalkeeper have to corral it so you know, okay, we're still in this game. Because look at this hold up. She gets foul called against her, but still, this Cameroon side, they no pushover there. Okay, they no pushovers. 2-0 is the score. 2-0 is the score. Yeah, if two teams that are gonna pass the ball, right? Two teams that are trying to build up. Two teams that I would argue from top to bottom are more talented. Yo, if that goes, that's game. This is game. If that goes, if that is, yo, Lowy, this is tough. What are you doing, Sakelo? Like, what are you actually? That's on the goalkeeper. I am sorry. That is on. Cameroon might win by 6. Ball is clear. The goalie leaves her line, and she doesn't get to the ball, and she's not close to getting to the ball. She's rounded through. Cross goes into an empty goal. Enga gets her brace. It's this. This might be done already, guys. 3-0 for the indomitable Lionesses. 3-0 is the score, and it is not. Yeah. It is not close. Cameroon are defending better. Cameroon are getting players into dangerous spaces. Their defenders aren't even getting high marks in this game. If you look at some of the ratings, I might only be able to make it to halftime, but I'm going to give you everything that I can here in these moments to continue to speak of my goodness, what a and it's not that Cameroon again have been better dominating the ball. It's their midfield has just done it. Period. Their midfield has just done it to the point of there is nothing that really there's really nothing that Malawi can do in their buildup. Right? And now it's 3-0. Now it's 3-0 at this point as Engo gets her brace at the end of the half. In those moments, they've just been better. The midfield has made it difficult. I mean, look at the XG and all that will paint another picture here. But the stats, it's 54-46 possession share, 8 total shots, 5 on target, 3 goals. 3 big chances, 3 goals. That's where it is. On target shots, they're right where they need to be. 2.41 versus 0.1 shots coming through. Goal shots inside the box. Everything has been dangerous. Yes, there's a post that's hit and maybe a goal changes it, but the way that the midfield for me is really all what it's fine. They've not been overly dominant, but they've been effective. That's the difference. They have been effective. Again, Malawi aren't winning the ball in the middle to get the choice. And when they can win it, yes, you're seeing those moments where, okay, now that they finally win the ball, they can try to put the ball into a dangerous space. And that's when they try to get a long ball out to Tabitha or Temuch Wingo. But outside of that, those sisters may as well be a cruise right now because other than ringing the post, we haven't really heard too much from them. Right? We haven't heard too much from them. And then you look at the players and how they are. Let me actually see if I can give me that zoom here. Too much, right? Nyaju, a 6'9", like solid. Even though Matisse is having a decent game, Sakelo is, I mean, if you want to blame someone, I know Malawi can believe she stole the game. That third goal, if you're going to come off your line, you better make sure you get to the ball. She does not. When she gets off the line, you can see the space. She's not going to get there. And she just leaves once she gets beat, player gets the ball out wide, and it's an empty header to make it 3-0 for the indomitable Lionesses. Oh, for sure. They for sure did the work. The midfield, this is nothing new. Look at these ratings for the players that are there. Ngok 6'7", right? Toko a 6'7", right? Ango and Black, like these players who've always been good, plus Nyaju there, and then Maya Kif maybe for leaving off for a chance if she comes down a little bit lower. But these players have their backbone. It's what we've been saying in this chat. Yes, Bahenia is going to get all the praise for the saves that she made. But their defense have made her saves possible and a little bit easier. Yes, there were some great ones against Nigeria. Yes, there were some good ones against Morocco. But this defense, these numbers, by the end of this game, they're all going to be green, right? Those players, Maikif, Nyaju, Toko, and Ngok, like those 4 players, they're all going to be green by the end of this game, unless Malawi turn it around in a more dramatic way. Like there's a way to that. And to that point, Firewall, it could be 5-0 because of the counterattack. Malawi will get desperate to come back and leave their back open for attacks. Oh, I know. It's for them for Malawi to get into this game, they need to turn this into a more frenetic track meet where it's just put the ball in, it's chance, it's a ping pong game. It's chance. That's the only way I see them getting back into this game. because if it stays the way that it is, they either have to just say forgo the midfield and everything has to be wide and going. They already made a substitution, right? They already made a substitution in the 43rd minute before they conceded the third goal. And so for them, it's the only chance they really have is to make it a frenetic up and down game where they can find chances, because outside of that, it's if this first half plays like the second half, you might as well Eto, come down and pick up the trophy right now. Like Samuel, just go ahead and pick up the trophy right now. Because Malawi aren't going to win this type of a game. Right. And to that point where I said that's where I was saying earlier, I think Malawi is more of a right. Malawi to me feels more like a Zambia B, like Zambia 2.0. Two great strikers, but then defensively and everything in the middle, and frankly, I trust Zambia's defense more than I trust Malawi's defense. And I don't trust Zambia's defense. So 3-0 is the score. All right, everything is going haywire. I can't even put up the tracker here, so I'm just not even going to try to. I'll just keep you guys up to date with it. But right now, it is all indomitable lionesses. It is all indomitable lionesses, and they have deserved being up as they are. And so for Malawi, it's they got to turn this around. Because I think the problem for them is if they can't, like the midfield has, and if you look by score, the midfield has been terrible, but Gondaway comes out in early, and then Sani comes in. Sani came in the first half because, look, they realized midfield, though she didn't have a bad game, Gondaway didn't have a bad first half, you need more. This is them saying they really do miss, right? Kadzere, like they miss Kadzere in the middle. That red is gonna haunt them for what could have been. I agree with this. It would take a miracle or overconfidence for Cameroon from Malawi to come back. I agree. If you are Cameroon, you listen. Don't change it. Don't experiment. Right? No, I'll say the outrageous thing first. Don't add raisins to the jollof. Just leave it as it is and move on. Okay? It's good. It's tasting fine. Keep it the same way. Second half, you should be good. For Malawi, now you're like, listen, more onions, more ginger, more garlic, whatever you need to change. Things have to change as we're getting ready for the second half to get going here. As the score still sits at, all right, I got to go window for this. We're seeing any substitutions. Tendai, like you run in Tendai, like, yeah, actually, we need to try something. So they really are sending, that's a message going through. The Malawian fans the fans are very much, listen, they need hope. If you're Malawi, you need a goal in these first 10 minutes. 9 for 20 is the substitution. So I'm going to scroll down and show you that lava. So Wilembika's coming on for, oh, no. That's a Cameroonian switch. So Bandua's coming off for someone. That makes no sense. Someone's coming off and the numbers aren't right here. Regardless, let's get you back to some of the action. The ball is about to be kicked. Here, and I'm going to get you guys back to that play-by-play. If I leave, if it gets cuts out again, I'm just going to. It's 15-9, so this will be interesting. Oh, it's the Egyptian. Oh, Yo, this is gonna be a quick game. Yo, this ref is good. This ref is good. Alrighty, let's get our window up as we are on to the second half. I'll just minimize you slightly here. Oh, that's what I didn't do. Coolie McCool. Nearly there, but still 3-0 is the score. As Cameroon have made most of their chances. Malawi tried to get the ball into a dangerous spot, immediately put a shot on frame, and it is wide, but a good start by Malawi just to get things moving here. 3-0 is the score. Tabitha tried to go across the body, but can't keep it on target. But now it's trying to turn and create moments for them. Ball placed in, but bad pass coming in. Now here comes Malawi again turning. So DK gets it. She tries to go through, but yeah, Malawi feeling like they understand the urgency of the moment here. And for those fours, you need them to start to drop further back to look, you'll get your cardio in. And they try to be physical and can't get to the ball. And a free kick, as we saw, on coming up here. Look, I'd say throw on more forwards. And look, your midfield already doesn't exist if you're Malawi. At that point, I'd say, you know what? Maybe throw in another midfielder, but throw in more forwards and then drop Temwa back because she'll work. You'll get the work rate from her and have her get into the middle. And then that way, when she wins the ball, then she can dribble out. And then it's okay. They can look better than midfield, but it's just because Temwa's winning the ball there. And then next thing you know, she's 2-3 strides and she's already leaving everyone. But 3-0 is the score. Just due to weather, we're just not going to show anything. Oh, wow. Now you'll show that? You guys are unbelievable. 3-0 is the scores. We have a throw-in coming in for the Scorchers. Alrighty. So apparently I'm signing my fate. And Cameron, reminder, this is not the time to roll around and try to earn things. Really? Like this? Hey. Okay, good. I was about to lose my mind. I was about to lose my mind. Because it's a nice build-up. The second ball is lost there. They go long, or they call the offsides. Beats the center back, goes around, plays it, and misses the goal overall. It wasn't even a goal. That should have been 4. It's not that it should have been. That should have been 4. Yo, I don't. And they're calling her offsides, even though she is onside. But whatever. See, there's no time to be conserved for Malawi. I agree, John Patrick. That's what I'm saying. How do you come on? That should have been 4. At this point, this should be a generational beatdown if Cameroon can finish. I'm there. Malawi should remember what happened the last time they made the finals. If they make it again, based off of look, it's the finish. Unbelievable. The stadium's empty in the finals. FIFA should revoke the 2023 hosting rights for Morocco. Stadium attendance is disappointing so far. Stadium attendance is disappointing. I think there are things that go into this, but again, you're checking that for a penalty. Where is the penalty? Okay, if you look for it, come on. Really? Where's the pen? Guys, we have a VAR check here, and I'm genuinely asking, where's the pen? This feels like the type of win a game that happens when like a good story happens. Oh, on Tabitha. So maybe a way, like we said, you got to score one in the first 10 minutes. A possible penalty in the box against Tabitha Chewinga. Maybe that's their doorway back into the game. So we wait and we see. It's a lot of physicality, and that should have been the penalty that we deserved. I agree. But it may not be that. Yeah, no penalty called, and game resumes. So the attendance is a thing because, like, there's the underlying story that this is not Cameroon. This is Morocco's. It feels like their umpteenth time they're hosting. They've hosted the last three women's AFCONs for 3 straight years, or 3 straight editions. Sorry, and then so they hosted in 2022, and then in 2024 they hosted a women's AFCON, and then in 20 so the 2025 edition, and then in 2026 they hosted the men's AFCON, and then here they're hosting this AFCON for the women again. So look, there was also a whole thing in terms of what the ticket rollout was. This tournament was supposed to be in March, but then it got postponed due to unforeseen circumstances. Is what the actual press release said? And all I'm going to say is the same day that the tournament was supposed to start, CAF put out a notice that says that Morocco had won the men's AFCON due to violation of the bylaws for leaving the field. So do with that as you will. Do with it as you will. Right? And I think that's a lot to host 3 straight. I mean, we've seen it in Canada, like try to host the juniors here every year. It's like, yeah, the prices may be expensive, and the mystique and just the awe of it kind of loses. That's the world of ice hockey juniors, for those of you who are unaware. And to your next point here, as Cameroon looks like trying to create another opportunity, do they have better facilities than the other nations? I think CAF put themselves in this problem, in this situation, because look, Morocco have been building up to further 3 are now 17 country. I know it's only like 6, but they're multiple country bid for the World Cup. So they've been improving their facilities the whole time. And I think what happened is CAF started to really lean on that. Whenever they needed countries to host, especially for nations who didn't have facilities, or CAF approved facilities, there was a lot of leaning on them. And what ends up happening there is you now create an environment where I think, whether rightly or wrongly, you've now fostered an environment where we've given you and allowed you to do so many things. So, and this tournament, I think, is their most disappointing result, not because they finished 4th for Morocco, but I think, and if you told me in this tournament, Morocco only had to face South Africa to reach the finals, as a nice free kick opportunity now coming for, well, it's a deep. They'll probably go direct. Good defending though on the outlet. Those center backs are there. But if you're always relying on them, you're just you're creating an environment where expectations are there. And whether it should be or not, you're creating that type of an environment. And so as a result, that's where they are. I think there's other facilities. It'll be very interesting to see next year's AFCON, because that's going to be in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. and they're building stadiums and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see it on the on the East Coast. Ball clear, tries to get it in, headed away, but not quite there as Malawi come back into possession. So it'll be interesting to see. And then the next WAFCON, they haven't chosen the date for it as of yet, but I think they've just played themselves into a space of, just too much over reliance on one country. But back to this game and to this point here, another challenge for Malawi is that Cameroon can match their physicality. Malawi used their physicality advantage against other teams the other day before today. Okay, I didn't say that right. Another challenge for Malawi is that Cameroon can match their physicality. Match them? Listen, Cameroon has been the physical side. Malawi, this feels like big sister, little sister moments, where little sister's trying to fight, and then big sister's like, no. This is how you properly shield the ball. This is how you disrupt the midfield. This is big sis, little sis action here. Malawi used their physicality to advantage against the other teams before today. I think definitely in the Algeria game, you'd say that. And they got it, and then Kadzari got away with a lot against Ghana. But still, even to that point, even against Algeria, if Algeria finishes their chances, it's at least a high-scoring affair. Temwa trying to do everything she can, but she can't do everything. But this game's going to require her to do everything. So 3-0 is the score. Cameroon should be up by more, but, finishing for who, for what? J'agree. But a throw in now here for Malawi as they try to inch their way back into this game. They needed a goal about 2 minutes ago. If Malawi want to get into this game, they need to find a goal. They need to crack the window open just a bit. Because right now, they have one shot, maybe 2 shots on target overall. And that is what separates them from a Cameroon side that have all their big chances have resulted in goals. And so we'll see if they're able to come through here. But right now, Samuel Eto'o, get your walking shoes on. I feel like you're bringing Cameroon another trophy. That's what it feels like. Thank you, everyone who has come by here during this tumultuous stream. Just, make sure you touch up the like button in one way, shape, or form. Again, I already asked for subscribers. I'm not going to ask for it again, but just touch up the like. Actually, do it or don't, because at this point, my stream just might cap out, and we won't know what to do. But Cameroon applying some pressure here. Cameroon don't have to go into waste every minute of this game yet, but they're getting to every second ball. They're settling the ball in. They're finding their passes. They are just forcing, and I think for Cameroon that's great. You make Malawi have to play the entire length of the pitch. Don't make mistakes in the midfield, which they haven't made too many. So if Malawi are going to score, make them go the full length of the pitch. As the corner comes in, as we saw, the shot was off target. Well, let's see where this header goes. Headed away, and they try to strike it, but strikes a player in the middle, strikes the same player in the head. Now the Cameroonians are calling for VAR. Okay, so looks like one of these blocks might produce. We'll take a look and see once we get a replay, but they may have their opportunity for 4, even though they should be at 6 by now. This game is just done. Oh, that looks like a pen. She Okay, okay. Her arm is up, and it looks like it hits the inside of her underarm. But listen, this feels like it's going to be because her arm is up. We got a comedian here. I'll be here all day. I'll be here all day. It looks like it should be, but it looks like they're just going to call it as the inside of the arm. So, yep, that's the stop. Ladies and gentlemen, John Patrick will be at the improv night every night. Oh, good stop. Oh, Temwa just rolls this pass. That was their moment. That was their opening. Yeah, Tabitha again, a good transition moment, a great save by McKaylee, and then Temwa gets a chance to bury it, but it just goes just wide. Oh, that was opening for Malawi to maybe crack the door or the window open. But still 3-0. Corner coming, and now goal kick proceeding. Right, Morocco attend only their games, and that is a bad sign of a host, and that's because they don't respect other Africans. I'm not going to dive into this. But what I will say to that first part, yeah, I think it's not a good look if you don't like if you can count the amount of Moroccans on one hand that are at and at most two. I don't think that's a good look, as Doris is saying. And I think that's not a good look for because you want it to be a good environment everywhere. And that's where it's nothing wrong with national pride. I'm not saying don't show up for other games and support your country. I get it, but their facilities, all those things, it's a very balanced on the one side, everything they have that they've built is probably top in Africa. No one's gonna push back on that. Some if they want to, show me better facilities. I think though sometimes the energy and some of the things that you hear about it coming around, that's where you get a little bit worried about it. And so, yeah, if this is a co-host, this will be very interesting. It'll also be very interesting just because you have Portugal, Spain, and Morocco all vying to host the finals. And I think to be safe, we just put it in Portugal. Even though I know to be safe, you put it at Camp Nou and you just live life. Yeah, Cameroon are making not only they are passing the ball, they're making look, if you want to press us, you can press us, but you have to press the whole length and we can pass through you. Sure. Hey, to your point, we've seen 3 AFCONs. This is the 4th one. They're not escaping the allegations of not attending non-Morocco games. They're not escaping those. Because you could go to the game, yeah, it's just different. Yeah, this game feels like it's just slowly drifting away. Malawi, I mean, get something out of this game, please. Good chance, good build up, but just skies the shot. Like even for the attendance, I thought it'd be very much sparse, but it feels like if they actually had other fans there, it would be very interesting. But we'll go from there. You think male footballers could come back from down 3-0 because the skill set and the mentality, but the women can't overcome such obstacles. I won't even go that far and say that. I'm just gonna say based off how this game has been flowing, Malawi haven't changed enough for me to say there's a goal or two at least in this game for them. Their one goal opportunity was the goal that they just was the chance that Temwa Chwenga just missed, where Tabitha gets the ball into gets a shot on, gets it out wide. Right, we're seeing the replay over here. Rebound, Temwa turns and just has to put it there. If she puts it away, that's there. But that's probably been they've had two chances, and in that same breath, you would argue that Cameroon should at least have two goals. So if we're gonna play the what if game, it's 5-2. The game is 5-2 if we play the what if goal game. So I don't think anything that Malawi have done structurally or just tactically are showing other than putting the ball up to Tabitha and Temwa and hoping. And that's they have now, at least good for them, that they'll have Olympic qualifiers that start in October. But for World Cup wise, scour the globe. Find every Malawian descent player you can. Do you play midfield? Do you play defense? Come, scorch with us. I don't know if that's how they use it, but that's what I would say. They're just better. They're fighting off pressure, fighting off physicality, playing for every foul. Like they're just nothing tactically I've seen from Malawi here. And at this point, I said just play another forward, drop Temwa further in. And, make sure you take every foul. Take every foul. But 3-0 is the score. I think that probably ends 4-1 because I feel like Malawi will find a goal. But the way that Malawi are defending, I feel like they will concede a goal. So probably 4-1 is what I think this game finishes off as. She's the best. Oh, agreed. She might have one. I just feel like there's gotta be one more. I feel like you gotta find another goal in there, but we'll see. But to that point, she's been the best goalkeeper this AFCON, no doubt about it. I wonder where this puts us now with the conversation of who are the best. Because I saw a comment on her performance and they said it reminded them of when Nadozi first debuted on the stage and she was just incredible. And I'm not going to go around and say, oh, is this the passing of the torch? I need, I need consistency. So a good tournament is great. Now she's got to go back to Benfica, win your goalkeeping spot, and then show that you're one of the better goalkeepers in Portugal. I think the more that we do that, I think that'll be good. I'm not gonna. There's the part of me I'm like, is she the best goalkeeper in Africa? No, I think Nadozi still has a better resume overall. But who are our best goalkeepers? That's a whole conversation now. Who are the best African goalkeepers on the women's side? That is because Kaylee is definitely putting herself in the conversation of, if you don't know me by now, you better know me. And the other fun thing about them is like they're almost built well for this for World Cup. I like their defense. Again, they're going to get tested against better sides. The one drawback with Africa right now is your highest ranked. If the highest ranked African side made the World Cup, they would be a pot 4 side, and that's Nigeria. Right. And that's where the situation became very interesting because the last World Cup, Nigeria was a pot 4 team. And it was like, yeah, so you had Nigeria, Canada, Australia, and the Republic of Ireland. You're like, if that is not a group of death, I don't know what is. All right, so they give us that. Cool Nadozi. They give her immediately. And now Cameroon with a substitution. We'll get you the update on who the player is. Yeah, because there's the Egyptian goalkeeper was a nice one too, but can't really. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, Trebek, yeah, okay, cool. Yep. Ajibade, yep. Fembi, yep. Barbara Banda, yeah, we know about it. Rachel Kunaji, yep. Linda Motlaho, okay. Mbellic leaving the pitch. And now coming on is number 8. Come or Com. Look, y'all are taking this, so live your best life. Cameroon, about 20 minutes from lifting a trophy their women have never lifted in their lives. Malawi are Zambia 2.0. 2.0 in every sense of the word. Two great forwards, suspect midfield, goalkeeping. It'll be very interesting to see. Again, this team is going to the World Cup, and by no means is that shade, but you have a year to find you scour, okay? You scour and you find everywhere. You go to Europe, you go to the US, you find any Malawian who is good, and you go from because attacking isn't their problem. I think they're fine with the attack between Temwa, Tabitha, Kadzare, and Simanka. Like you're fine. That's a good for. Everything else is on the table. And yes, you want to reward the ladies for making the World Cup. I get that. It's not a lifetime achievement award. You have 26 slots probably. Go find players. There's got to be a Malawian dual national who's playing youth in the US or Canada or England. There's got to be one. This is where like I wish because at least when I do this on the men's side, it's a lot easier because like transfer market, you have the first or second citizenship track. I don't know if Soccer Dawn has that, but like now this is now my side project as this game continues. Cameroon have been just this is their game. This has been their game. And Malawi have had maybe a goal changes a little bit of this, but I think it just makes the game look a little bit better. But right now, this is just the game. The game's been over since halftime. Like it should have been over since the 60th minute because that chance that Cameroon misses. But no, Malawi, look, good run. Look, it's a great story, and we're not taking anything away from what they did. They beat teams, right? They beat Nigeria, they beat Ghana, they beat Algeria, and they make it to the finals. Cameroon Cameroon had the more, again, also they got fortunate with their side. Their side of the bracket was very inviting, right? And that's where, like I said this in other videos and other podcasts, like I think if you're any team on that side, so Algeria, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, you're looking at this and saying we could have been here because you didn't have to face Nigeria, you didn't have to face Morocco, you didn't have to face South Africa. The toughest team were the teams like Ghana. You could argue Ghana was the toughest side on that side, and Malawi came back and beat them. And then from there, then at the Algeria game was lopsided. But again, I will say, you rewatch that game. Algeria should have scored. Look, Malawi should have scored goals, and Algeria left goals on the both. If there were parents in that game, both would be yelling at their children for taking 2 bites of chicken and leaving the rest on the plate. Wasted food. Wasted food is that game. And so, yeah, I think you do the most with what you have. It's a great run for them. Again, like we said, I think there's 2 stories that come out depending on who wins. If Malawi wins, I think it's those countries that have maybe 1 or 2 players. Can we build something around them? For a Cameroon, I think that emboldens the teams that were just on the cusp, right? The teams that just didn't qualify, the DR Congos, the Benins, the Togos, the Angolas, like the Gambia, like those teams who just missed out. And now we're going to 16 teams, I think more permanently. Those teams have to feel, look at Cameroon. Cameroon weren't even the best loser, but they made it. They were one of the better losers. But they made it, and now they have an opportunity to go through. So I think what Cameroon's win, I think, means for the other African sides are, if you were close, look, just get to the dance and then take your chances. Because they got to the dance, they topped their group, they beat a perennial favorite, they beat a new favorite, and now they're sending the Cinderella story home with broken shoes and no carriage. 3-0 is the score as Cameroon, barring a collapse of all collapses. I have to say it, barring a collapse of all collapses, en route to their first ever Women's African Cup of Nation trophy. And what a story it's been. Cameroon misses another opportunity, and time flicks on, ticks on, and we go. But time is ticking here. About 10 minutes left here. In this game, and right now Cameroon are making the most of their opportunities, holding on, moving well. They are about to become, in 10 minutes, the 4th African nation to hold the Women's African Cup of Nation trophy. And so congratulations to them. Another important date's coming up on 4-1 would be fair. 4-1 would be fair. There's another goal left. You know, you get a goal and you think, oh, maybe there's something, and then you immediately concede again. That's what 4-1 is what I think this should be. That's fair. Right. You remind yourself that, you know, Michele isn't invulnerable. Yo, shout out to you, Firewall. Shout out to Ote who's been here. Shout out to John. everyone who's been here for all of our watch longs for things. I will not stream the Canada U17 women's game because, again, schedule does not allow me to do it. But we'll have a full recap of those 3 games a little bit later when they're all done. And then directly after that, we got the men's U17 games coming up. On the 20th, we have the draw for the women's IC playoff prelim round. So that's going to involve Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Uzbekistan, Taiwan, and then Ecuador? Yeah, Ecuador. We'll go with Ecuador. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, Papua New Guinea. And so that will be something that we will cover and keep you guys up to date on how that will look. And then European men's season and women's season gets going. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this year. Just because I do have a little bit more, but not a lot. This game actually doesn't feel as one-sided as the score would indicate. Now, all Cameroon in the first half, but Malawi have been much better in the second half, just no goals. Yes, they've been better in the second half, but you got to be clinical on those chances. And that's what they missed out on. That's why the 3-goal deficit has stayed a 3-goal deficit. Boo. Are they going to do something with this? Sisters, are we going to do something with this? Time is ticking away. Yeah, they get the ball in a good space, try to cross it in, get it in the middle, try to put a strike, but then just right to the defender. Yeah, just chances are there, just not well taken. But right now, the time is just ticking away. Cameroon comes in on the break. Can they get the cross in? But it's easily defended. Now, Malawi moving back into possession. Music. I gotta do it on my phone. But like you said, chances well taken in the first half by the Indomitable Lionesses, and Malawi just chances not taken well, and that's the difference. That is the difference, really, in this game. As the Indomitable Lionesses getting the ball into dangerous spaces, being more physical than them, and that has resulted in really where we sit now. And as stated, right? Niaju is at a 7. Gok is at a 7. Toko is still at a 6.7, but they are rating where they are. Like they are doing the job. Oh, now catches up. Now I'm literally right behind. This would have been great an hour ago. Thanks a lot. Turbo man. But yeah, Cameroon are just managing this game out. As I say that, as I said, they are. If you go to Soccer Wave, defenders, great. Yes, the goal scorers are getting top marks, but Toko, Ngok, Yadu, Maya Kif, like everyone defensively are looking good. You know what they deserve? They deserve a center back goal. You know, rub salt in the wound of this game. We might as well. We might as well. Cameroon just misses a chance wide there. They try to go direct, but they're going to bad pass again. This is the problem with them. There's no one in the middle to really win a second ball for Malawi this whole game. I was having a good stream, you know. I was enjoying a good stream. And now you have to bring this up. No, yes, we should have beat them. Ghana should have beat them. But Ghana's issue has been they can't score and reliant on the same two players to try to score. Yes, I know some Ghanaians will tell me, oh, they've used 10 players. Yes, they've used 10 different players around two. Look, I don't look. Chantal Boy Horkler won't say that she had the best tournament, and nor did Doris. They both scored one goal, but on a team that struggled, it wasn't for lack of chances, it was lack of finishing. And that team struggled to score. I don't find it a coincidence that they're able to find multiple goals in the game where they finally had a mobile center forward. And so for that, yeah, it's a missed opportunity. Anyone on that side, I think Ghana would say the same thing. Cote d'Ivoire would say the same thing. Algeria would, the Algeria Malawi game. Yes, Malawi, and I said this earlier, they Malawi scored goals, but they left more goals on the pitch. It was poor. So 87th minute and counting. You guys are at the 88th minute here. Mm-hmm. They are coming in, but time is ticking away. We're getting closer and closer to. Hey, my screen has frozen. We sit here waiting, which means if this is freezing here, that's going to mean one thing. All right, wonderful. Back in the game. 89th minute. We wait. As Cameroon are minutes away. I think this ref should just give it 2 minutes. Or you know what, ref, end the stream. Don't even extend it. Just end the stream, ref. It's okay. The Sabbath Chewinga tries to go around, tries to find a moment, tries to crosses it, and it's blocked. And they're throwing coming in for Malawi. Malawi looking to create something in these last moments, leave the final with something they hope. A dive to win the ball, but then easily cleared. And now going back the other way. And probably buffering. By stuff that I am buffering. Timo hitting the back there. They're hoping for a penalty, but Lovejoy is just like, look, we're here. Let's just call it a game. 3 minutes of additional time is what's given. And that is what we will wait for. But 3 minutes away. Yeah, it's been a fun tournament, Firewall. Like I said, and if you told me Malawi and Cameroon were making the finals of this, I'd ask you. I want financial advice from you from now on. I don't think anyone but a Malawian and a Cameroonian fan would have been that bold to say that. Look, we had people who were bold saying, yeah, maybe Nigeria doesn't make the finals. Well, Clinton said that. We had people say, maybe South Africa doesn't make the finals. Clinton said that. We had people say, maybe Ghana makes the finals. Clinton. Again, I'm not throwing Clinton under the bus, but I'm saying there was conversations about other teams not making it. But I don't think we all had this as our final. I said early, Malawi is just such an unknown that, hey, I'm glad that we finally got to see the sisters at this level, and they can carry. We've learned that they can carry. But there's always a limit to that. Because you can only outscore so many of your problems if your problems don't overtake everything else you're doing. And in this game, Malawi's problems really showed. And they weren't particularly good, but they weren't bad. But in those 3 moments, they conceded. Goalkeeper leaving the line, and then you had other moments coming through. To me, again, this Malawi side, for people like, oh, Zambia's not in the World Cup. Yes, they are. It's Malawi. Malawi is Zambia 2.0. Just apparently some people didn't know that there were 2 sisters in Malawi who were just sitting there. Oh, they've been there. They've been in Malawi 2.0 the whole time. Zambia, Malawi is Zambia 2.0. And so we know what that type of team can do. My man. Sultan wound. Oh. Salt in the wound. Oh. Yo, replay, get to this. End this game. Yeah, this is going to stand. Yeah, pick up your yellow card. Whatever. 4-0. Yeah. Yeah. Yo, who's goal scorer here? That's it. Yep. He comes in. Yo, what a run, eh? Comes in the 91st, scores in the 93rd. Yo, it's a wrap. Congratulations to the Indomitable Lionesses on a rout of the Cinderella story. And like we said, we'll see you in Brazil next year. What a run. What? They're canceling the goal? Man. Why would you cancel the goal? What did you do wrong? I don't see the foul. Offside. No. Pull. No. Salt into this wound. No. Make them live in this. Yes, I don't care for Malawian youths, apparently. But that is the final. 3-0. The Indomitable Lionesses get past the Scorchers. There was no fire for the Scorchers today. They were put out by water and midfield. That is it. So congratulations to Cameroon. You are now the 4th African side to hold what I term as the 3rd prettiest trophy in all of football. First being the World Cup, of course, and then the AFCON trophy is the 2nd prettiest one. Then the 3rd one, The new one is lovely. But as I said, I'm actually gonna I'm gonna change this and show you something I mentioned here because I think, as I said, their midfield is gonna look away, and it's gonna be a good way regardless. But as I said, their midfield is gonna look good. And here it is, Cameroon's midfield. Look at this. Ngok 7.6, Toko 7.6, Niaju 7.5, Maikith 6.8. They are, look, Bahia is gonna get all the applause. She'll get golden gloves at this tournament, and good for her. And so this defense is why I think they're going to have a chance in every game they play when it comes to the World Cup, depending on what their group is. Because these four players right here, right? Ngok, Maikif, Niaju, and Toko, those four are going to give them a fighting chance because in the midfield, they will always create problems. When you saw them in transition, you have Andua, you have Eto, you have Ngo, you have Nga who gets the 2 goals here. They're solidly defense, and then they can get out in transition. They are going to give themselves a chance in every game with solid defending. And so congratulations, Cameroon. Right? I think it should stand too. At this point, salt in the wound. I agree. And to that point, Cameroon paid their dues, losing in the finals 3 times in the past. 4th time is the charm, which is why I think they should have scored 4. Maybe that was the difference. He needs to score 4. But it's 3-0 is the score. They win the title. And ladies and gentlemen, what a fun time we've had here covering all things Women's AFCON. We'll be back later this week to talk about what was and some of our takeaways, some of the lessons that we have, which are some of the things I brought up here. But I'll come back with a live, see if I can get some people here to talk about it and have fun. But right now, congratulations to Cameroon. Well earned. What a story for them. They're there and they're enjoying it. But thank you so much. If you haven't already, I'll do it again. Subscribe here. We do Canadian African content here on the channel, so take it and enjoy it. If you haven't already, hit the like button on this video. It helps with visibility. I don't know if you want to do it for this video because it was a tumultuous. Yeah. There was turmoil through it all, but the internet finally hang on at the end. But guys, thank you so much for being here. If you're on Twitch or if you were here on the stream here on YouTube, appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Right here, because it's what I do. I'm just gonna stop talking.